Hello, welcome to the car show. This week we're at the 1997 London Motor Show. Over the next 2 weeks, 500,000 visitors will visit Earl's Court, eat 2 tons of hot dogs and drink 36,000 cups of tea as they wander around 170 stands covering an area the size of 14 football pitches. It costs manufacturers up to £500,000 to exhibit here, and there'll be 700 cars on display. It's a pilgrimage. Only place to be for anybody who loves cars. This year, off-roading gets the star treatment with a 4x4 adventure playground outside the hall. You can test drive a range of four-wheel drives, like the new Subaru Forester, a car that's designed for the road but won't let you down on rougher terrain. But the real star of the motor show is parked firmly on a stand inside the hall. Tristram gets to grips with Land Rover's latest offspring.
It's had as much hype as a Hollywood movie. The Freelander is set to take Land Rover into the next century, and it's already one of the most talked about cars here. One of a growing breed of leisure off-roaders, the Freelander is built to steal sales from Toyota's RAV4 and the trendy Honda CR-V. We haven't driven the car yet, but Land Rover footage shows the car plowing through all sorts of muddy stuff. With new functions like the automatically engaged hill descent control, it should be easier to drive on slippery slopes. There are 2 models, the 5-door station wagon or the 3-door with a choice of soft or hard tops. All use the ever-willing Rover 1.8 K-series engine, and there's a 2-litre diesel. The 5-door looks the best proportioned, the 3-door softback a bit tacky. From the side it looks too similar to the Vauxhall Frontera Sport, and this weird window shape is a mess. The interior is robust and attractive with lots of space and compartments. There's even a CD player on the top spec model. Now Land Rover promised all sorts of extras to customise your Freelander, including side stripes, spotlights and polymer nudge bars. It's the first fun Land Rover. The big, friendly front end, chunky wheels and stepped bodyline are aimed squarely at young drivers. It's well priced. At £16,000, the base model is almost £4,000 cheaper than the Land Rover Discovery. The Freelander will undoubtedly be the star of this year's show. But back in 1989, we were all flocking to see a stunning new Lotus sports car. Now that design is making a comeback. Mariella investigates.
If you have a distinct feeling of déjà vu looking at this new car, you're not mistaken. Many will recognize the classic wedge shape of the Lotus Elan, now years out of production. But this car has a Kia badge on the front. Kia, unlike Lotus, aren't known for building sports cars, but the Koreans are known for their keen business sense. And when Lotus ran into financial difficulties after spending millions on the Elan, Kia stepped in and bought up the project for a bargain price. They now plan to sell the car back to the UK in 1998. Kia have lightly restyled the wheels, the rear lights and the bonnet profile, and more importantly fitted their own 1.8 engine. It does without the turbocharger fitted by Lotus, but has 151 brake horsepower and gives excellent acceleration. The Kia is faster and more powerful than the Rover MGF and will run to 126 miles per hour. Thankfully, Kia haven't messed with the brilliant handling. The steering is really direct and easy to manage. When you turn tight into a corner, the car just grips and grips. 8 years ago, the Lotus Elan was hailed as one of the best handling front-wheel drive cars ever. Today, the Kia is just as special. The interior isn't quite right. In place of the Lotus Elan's dials made by Vauxhall are Kia's own. They look pretty dull and this airbagged wheel is too large. Electric windows are standard, anti-lock brakes are not. At least the hood works well and stows completely away. Ironically, since Kia started building this car, they've run into financial difficulties themselves. Will it help to get them out? Well, my guess is that at £17,500, it's not enough of a bargain. And it remains to be seen how snobby British buyers will react to the rather unsporty badge. Still, I've enjoyed driving it, so my fingers are crossed for Kia.
I thought it was just a little too smooth, a little too rounded. Well, I think it's a lovely car. I mean, it's fantastic. But £65,000, I mean, I could buy a house for that amount of money.
I like it a lot. Slightly smooth, could be a bit more aggressive, but they will bring versions out that are.
They're talking about the new Porsche 911. After its first comprehensive restyling in 34 years, the 911 is longer and taller, but you can still see the famous jelly mold shape underneath. Under the skin, everything has been radically revamped. There's better crash protection, more cabin space, extra performance and improved handling. The interior is similar to Porsche's two-seater Boxster with this big central console and distinctive instruments. Check this very new-age gear stick, for example. This is a clever trick. The tiny rear seat folds down, which I'm sure is very, very useful. I'm just not exactly sure what for. The engine for this Carrera is the traditional flat six, but this time cooled by water, not air. Porsche say the 911 will hit 60 miles per hour in 5.1 seconds and run on to 174 miles per hour along a German autobahn. When push comes to shove, I think I prefer its predecessor looks-wise, which was one of my all-time favourites. But I think the new 911 will probably be a benchmark for sports cars into the millennium.
Morgan have also reworked their Plus 8. At first glance, you'll never notice it looks pretty similar to the old model introduced in 1968, but they've made over 500 changes. The Morgan now has airbags and a rake-adjustable steering column. A new Rover 4.6-litre V8 propels the ash-framed aluminium-bodied Plus 8 from 0 to 60 in 6 seconds and onto 128 miles per hour. Fancy one? Then hand over £32,500 and join a 6-year waiting list. Britain's oldest car maker, AC, are back from the brink of bankruptcy to launch a new car, the Ace. It's got a hardtop and a £75,000 price tag. I can't help feeling they'll do better pushing sales of their Cobra, a muscle car that will always find buyers.
Enough of sports cars. A big attraction at this year's show will be small cars, like Mercedes' forward-looking A-Class. A few years ago, nobody would have expected to see the three-pointed star on something the size of a Mini. But times change. It's shorter and narrower than Ford's quirky car, but full of space inside. There's decent performance and it's been built with safety in mind. Engines are 1.4 and 1.6 petrol, and there's a choice of two 1.7-litre turbo diesels. They're under the front passenger seat, designed to slide under the car in a crash. The exhaust, battery and fuel tank sit beneath the rest of the cabin, freeing up space. Inside, Mercedes have gone beyond their usual conservative nature to design something more youthful. This swoopy air recirculating switch is pretty cool, but my favourite thing about the A-Class is the louvered front-to-back steel sunroof. The Mini Merc is very versatile. For load carrying, one or both rear seats can be removed, as can the front passenger seat, giving a loading space as big as many estate cars. The A-Class starts at a tempting £13,500. It's rare to find a car that genuinely pushes motoring forward, but the Mercedes A-Class does. It looks small, but feels big, and delivers high levels of safety and fuel economy in a very modern shape.
The biggest small car story recently was the shock unveiling of the new Mini at last month's Frankfurt show. The press raved about its shape, but we think it looks stuck in the past. You won't be able to see it in the metal because Rover have decided not to bring the Mini to Earls Court. But Daewoo are showing a baby car, the Darts, which we think is the way the Mini should have looked. At £7,000, it's cheap. There are twin front airbags, seatbelt pre-tensioners, anti-lock brakes and aircon as an option. The Daewoo Darts goes on sale from the middle of next year. Hopefully, they would have changed their name by then. But it's not just small cars that manufacturers are lavishing time and money on. The well-developed Alfa Romeo 156 is one of the show's mid-sized stars. The car show has been driving it.
In the past, the Alfa Romeo badge stood for unreliability and rust. It was driving appeal that kept them selling. Other manufacturers can now match that handling and performance, so Alfa Romeo are relying on style to sell. Witness the new 156. It's stunning. The 156 replaces the slow-selling 155 and will compete against the BMW 3 Series and Audi A4. Whether you look at the whole shape or close-up, it's one of the best-looking saloons on the road today. The grille is classic Alfa, the rear door handles are hidden to reinforce a coupe look, and the hooded dash looks very 60s. The in-house designers have mixed new and retro design cues harmoniously. The car show tried the Alfa in Portugal and found its good looks matched by ability on the move. The most popular engine is likely to be the 2-litre with a healthy 155 bhp and a zingy exhaust note. The 16-valve unit loves and needs revs, but you'll need the 2.5 V6 for real speed or the 1.8 for economy. The Alfa has finely balanced controls and handles as well as the A4, but purists might prefer the classic rear-wheel drive layout of the BMW 3 Series. If it doesn't sell, Alfa's future in the UK looks bleak, but that's unlikely. With prices from £16,500 to £22,000, the classy 156 should be Alfa Romeo's comeback car.
That's it for the first half, but stay with us for more Motor Show Glamour.
And road tests of the new Volkswagen Golf, Citroën Zara, and super quick Honda Integra R. Keep it Car Show.